Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, turning our discussion to the topic for tonight. We're joined here in the studio by Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, the lecturer at Cairo University and also the banking and economic expert. Dr. Roshdy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to say good evening to you and our audience and take the chance to congratulate the Egyptian citizen with the great victory month memory.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Now, Dr. Roshdy, we're talking about the Sinai Peninsula. It's a strategy that has been set since 2014, over £650 billion to really start development, serious development for the Sinai Peninsula. Before we start talking about the specifics, what sort of sectors and areas of development that could be really beneficial for the Sinai Peninsula in specific?
First of all, I would like to start our discussion today with two famous quotes for for Nelson Mandela, which is reconstruction goes hand in hand with reconciliation. The second one for Abraham Lincoln, which is the best way is to protect the future is to create it, actually. In my humble opinion, what you are talking about concerning Sinai, it's we are being the fruits for one of the most bravest decision that we took, which is 6th of October war.
Yes.
Actually, it's the war that end all wars. And in addition to the most strategic decision also, which is to select the peace alternative, the Camp David Accords. Currently, we are being the fruits of those things. Actually, if we talk about Sinai, we would focus on many projects. We can start with trying to focus on the construction part, creating tunnels, in addition to the project of Suez Canal, mining, the mining universities, focusing on renewable energy, which is one of the most important things that globally, the global community is focusing on it. There is an agenda for 2030 agenda for sustainability that Egypt is focused on it, in addition to the 2063 agenda for Africa for sustainability. Mainly, there is a great construction in Sinai concerning the new roads, the tunnels, especially the Suez Canal tunnel, which is linking Sinai to the motherland to facilitate investment and the trade. Those tiny things, which in my humble opinion, the most important and the crucial things that will develop our country and try to best utilize the location for Sinai. Mainly, Sinai has a great location. I believe it links 3 continents. You can imagine Africa, Asia, and Europe.
Yes. Well, Dr. Roshdy, now that you've mentioned the tunnels, well, the government has really dug 4 tunnels, 2 in Ismailia and 2 in Bursaid, really linking the Red Sea to Cairo and the rest of Egypt. Now, how is that going to affect the transfer of goods and the job opportunities? How is it going to affect the kind of products Egypt has within its markets? Are we expected to see, for instance, a higher availability of domestic seafood products? Are we expecting to find more job opportunities and people moving from one governorate to another? How do you think this is going to change the Egyptian economy?
Actually, you are hitting a nerve when you are saying that we can see one day that people can transfer from one governor to another one. This is one of my dreams. Like all most European countries, they are doing the same thing. They are going to job opportunities and trying to find the best things. Now what's happening today in our country, the majority of our citizens are mainly focused on the capital. And it is reached to be the crowded place, and we are, as far as I recall, we are just utilizing just a small portion, like 6 to 4% from our country, from our country space. Actually, we have to best utilize our all our lands. I can tell you, just would like to share some statistics about Sinai, how we can best utilize it. According to Cap Mass, Sinai has around 450,000 people living north of Sinai, and 111,000 people in South Sinai. Actually, the total space, or the stretches over an area, 61,000 square kilometers. It represents around 6% of our Egypt total area. That we have to go to best utilize. What currently is happening in our government and by our presidential leadership, actually, is to focus to develop, create development projects. As you said, let me quote you, creating job opportunities to boost the national economy and maintain national security. The development of Sinai tops the priority list of political leadership. Those tiny things, if we did it in a right way, actually, we will have a dramatic change in our plan and map, and on population concentration. It will be distributed, because this, in my humble opinion, Sinai is a strategic city. As I told you previously, and our audience, it links 3 continents. You can imagine it could be a business hub one day.
Yes.
It has a strategic location. For that reason, when you are trying to push and try to let people go to Sinai or other urban whatever, you have to focus on many things. Mega projects, change the infrastructure, the new road network, create job opportunities, focus on investment for healthcare and education, to let people go and they are feeling that they can live better life. This is the motive for people to transfer, as you said, from the capital to any other city.
Yes. Well, you've mentioned the size of the Sinai Peninsula, which is it's a small country, as a matter of fact, and the work to develop it is basically developing a whole economy for this small country. Now, the strategy has been laid out in 2014, so we're talking about 7 years now, going on 8, with a cost of exceeding £650 billion. Now, to really maximize the potential of this Sinai Peninsula, how long do you think it would take to really start seeing, maybe, as you've mentioned, Sinai being an economic international hub?
Actually, I would like to take the chance and quote you. You are saying that Sinai is considered as a country. Its space or its area, total area, looks like a country. Actually, at some point, it's larger than other countries, small countries. Actually, I believe that we could bear the fruit of the infrastructure, the tunnels, everything. We can do it quickly, but we have to focus and increase the motive for the Egyptian citizen to move from capital to Sinai by creating a lot of jobs and increase the life standard. We have to focus a little bit on this. This will be the motive. If you are doing anything, you have to put the cart. The cart, which means the motive, metaphorically for the motive. You have to motivate people. Actually, that's what our country, our government is trying to do now. They are trying to incentivize people who are going to focus to work on agriculture. They are offering lands, especially on agriculture side. They are offering lands with low price, and they are giving them the right to work on it, and taking its harvest and sell it with a good price, and the government is marketing it and buy it. Also, in addition to, they are trying to focus on mining. In addition, the most important thing, in my humble opinion, which is focusing on the renewable energy. Sinai, its location is quite well, and we can best utilize the solar system to get solar energy. And this is, by the way, this is aligned with the global community direction to focus on renewable energy. As you know, and our audience know, we have a limited resources. If we focus on oil, it will one day it will disappear. We have to, this is the ugly truth. The normal source of energy, one day it will disappear. We have to focus on alternatives. Some of those alternatives to focus on renewable energy. That's what's happening to create solar system or solar network generation in Sinai, something like that. In addition to focus on mining and to create something which is important, which is to create factories and business hubs in Sinai. We can best utilize its location. As I told you and our audience, it links 3 continents, and this is barely we could found something like that in a city or something like that. In addition to, we have, I believe, a treasure which called Suez Canal, and what the government is trying to do to invest a lot, honestly, on this infrastructure, especially Suez Canal. This is the most important thing, to link Sinai with the mother country, and this is the most important thing to do business, to let it as a business hub. In addition to, something which is crucial, we have to open to increase the number of universities there. And put incentive and enhance the rating for those universities. Many things we could do it. I believe step by step we can harvest the fruits for those initiatives. And now, little bit, we harvest more or less some things about those mega projects, actually, and the income of Suez Canal, in addition to the expansion for the network and many things, and especially for tourism.
Yes, of course.
It's a nice, many people, when I'm traveling to a lot of European citizens, one of my friends in Scotland told me no one can compete Red Sea.
Yes.
We have a treasure.
Yes, definitely. Well, talking about really turning it into an economic hub and having, as you've mentioned, companies and factories being built there and established there. You've also alluded to the educational sector, upgrading and developing the universities there, also the health sector, all of these things. As a banking expert as well, do you think that it should be the main concern for Egyptian companies and Egyptian banks to invest there, or would it be a much easier and faster process to attract foreign investors to come into Sinai, especially that geographically, as you've mentioned, it links 3 continents together, so it's relatively close, at least, to the international community geographically?
Actually, I believe that we have to start, we have to know the most important thing to motivate investors to come here in Egypt. One of the most important things to give incentive for investments. And this is happened by the new investment law. This will be a crucial thing to attract FDI, foreign direct investment. And this is possibly will reflect on banking industry, as you said, in addition to creating many jobs. Now, if we are focusing that many companies come with FDI, they will work and try to construct their factories or their companies, something like that. They would like to work with banks to finance them, and this is possibly will reflect on creating new job opportunities. And this is the cycle for it's an economic wheel. When you are getting FDI, you are creating job opportunities, and in addition to the banks will go to invest and lend the companies. In addition to the interest rate will be decreased, and people will put their money in banking, in banks actually, and let them to be investment.
Yes.
And this will reflect positively on our GDP, despite the fact we have a positive signal concerning GDP growth.
Yes.
Despite the fact that the majority of the, I can say that the developed countries, they have negative growth. And actually, we did a positive GDP growth, which reached to 2%, despite the fact of COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
And we have a lot of potential. And this is, by the way, I would love to share with you and our audience that the credit risk for Egypt is enhanced. A global financial institution are rating us as a positive B outlook economic. You can imagine.
Yes.
And those tiny things, which is the reflection of the economic reform, and those, I believe, are quick wins. Quick wins for what we did on the previous 7 years. And if we focus more and more on Sinai, I believe it will be the most important business hub in the Middle East.
Yes. Well, Dr. Roshdy, now you've pointed out to the amendments and the change that took place concerning the investment law, which has been really the biggest obstacle for foreign investors to come to Egypt. Now, can you explain exactly what changed? Now, how do the foreign investors find the investment law now more attractive to come to Egypt? Because they were always complaining about the logistical stuff, the bureaucracy, the red tape, and they were talking about it's easy, maybe it might be easy to get into the market, but it would be very difficult to get out of it if they wish to do so. So what changed now for the foreign investor to be more leaning towards coming and investing in Egypt, and specifically a very fertile soil, economically speaking, in Sinai?
I believe it started from General Authority of Investment. They created the one window for investors. The one window, the objective of this window is to serve everything in one place. You can finalize the commercial register, to establish your company, to take the legal advisors that required. Everything you can do it from one place. In addition to, there's a great or competitive edge for this, which is now that you can create your company through the internet. This is called a digital transformation. And actually, I believe one of the most important thing that our government and the global community, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, they are investing on digital transformation. And this is positively reflected to speed up the process. In addition to the regulation or the law, the investment law that was discussed as far as I recall, previous year concerning to give incentive for investors and waive them from tax for 5 years or 3 years based on the company structure, company mechanism, many things. Those are most important things to attract investments. How you can attract investments? You can attract investments by creating opportunities. You have a positive outlook economy. In addition to Egypt is called emerging market. We are a potential country. You can invest a lot and you can sell your goods. Currently European citizen or European governments are trying to little bit make a strong relationship with African content. Why they are doing that? You can see the age population for African countries and compared with European countries. The pyramid in European countries, old age or older people are the majority of the nation and the young are a little bit lower. In Egypt and African countries, the majority of the population are youth.
Yes.
When you are intending to build a country, who are building countries? The youth.
Yes.
For that reason, they are focusing to work on their relationship and enhance their relationship with African content as it's a potential market, and they can sell their goods. And currently we could hear easily that a lot of multinational companies are trying to go to Egyptian market. If it's not an advertisement, we have a new company entered like Amazon, a lot of companies, but I wouldn't like to say all of them. It's not a kind of advertisement for them, but actually I believe this is a positive signal. This is the positive signal, and especially our Prime Minister is sitting with them and he is focusing on that, and the supervision of presidential leadership, Mr. Fattah al-Sisi, everything, all our resources and focus are focusing on one thing: to get FDI, to enhance Egyptian citizen life standards. Those are main things that will positively impact our economy. Actually, we harvest a lot of them, like the unemployment rate decreased from 13.4 in 2013 to be now around 7%, 7.3%, almost decreased by 50%. Egypt, as I told you about the investment, General Investment Authority, they created the one window to serve the investors. Our Egypt rank in the global competitiveness reports advanced 20 places in 2020 to be 82 among 141 countries. You could imagine just the small things will make a difference.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Dr. Roshdy has mentioned, there is a lot of investment in the development of the whole of Sinai Peninsula. And actually, for the fiscal year 2020-2021, the government has allocated £6.8 billion for the development of the peninsula. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Egypt opens up to the world. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with world leaders.
أعبر لكم عن خالص الشكر والتقدير على حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة.
Reaffirming Egypt's vision, delivering our voice abroad.
لتطوير التعاون الثنائي الاقتصادي والعسكري إلى مستويات غير مسبوقة.
Discussing regional and international developments. Solid and strong relations on the path of partnership and development.
The Egyptian government has allocated £6.8 billion to Sinai development projects in its fiscal year 2020-2021 plan, focusing on bolstering the economic and social advancement and stability, in addition to providing housing services and public facilities for citizens in North and South Sinai governorates. Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hala Said announced the allocation of its details as part of the Citizen Plan initiative in North Sinai. The announcement comes as part of the nationwide launch of Citizen Plan in its second consecutive year, aiming to activate community participation and involve citizens in planning and follow-up across the country. Said added that Citizen Plan includes a detailed presentation of all development indicators and projects that are being implemented in each governorate. This will enable citizens to follow up on the implementation of these projects, whether in their governorate, city or village. On Citizen Plan in North Sinai, Said explained that the number of development projects in the governorate now stands at 170, adding that the value of public investment in the governorate in the fiscal year 2020-21 plan stands at £4.58 billion, an increase of 58.5% over the fiscal year 2019-2020 plan. This represents 1.8% of public investments distributed nationwide, indicating a growth rate of 45.8% in the investments financed by the public treasury and directed to the governorate, according to the minister. About the sectoral distribution of public investments targeted in North Sinai as part of the fiscal year 2020-21 plan, Said added that £1.8 billion or 39.6% of the funds will be directed to the housing sector and the development of informal settlements. A further £565.6 million has been directed to irrigation, £400 million to electricity, £286.6 million to local development, and £250 million Egyptian pounds to higher education. There are several important development goals in the housing, utilities and urban communities sector in North Sinai, which include directing about £646.7 million to drinking water and sanitation services, as well as £200 million to develop informal areas. As for North Sinai's local development targets under the fiscal year 2020-21 plan, some £87.2 million will be allocated to paving local roads, in addition to directing £142.9 million to services to improve the environment. Also, some £55.5 million will be directed to strengthening electricity networks in the governorate.